A few years ago, I moved into a small, older house in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't fancy, but it had character. Wooden floors, an old brick fireplace, and a little garden in the back. The house had been sitting empty for a while, and the landlord was eager to rent it out. I didn't think twice about taking it. First few weeks were uneventful. I spent most of my time unpacking, getting settled. But as I started spending more time at home, little things began to catch my attention. It started with noises. Late at night, I'd hear faint creaks and thuds as if someone were walking around. I told myself it was just the house settling. It was old after all. Then, one night, I was laying in bed, scrolling on my phone, when I heard a noise come from the kitchen. It wasn't the usual creak or groan. It was the distinct sound of a chair scraping across the floor. I froze. I sat there for a moment, straining to hear. Then I heard it again. Long, slow, deliberate. Someone or something was moving the chair. My heart started racing. I grabbed the closest thing I could find, which was a flashlight, and crept toward the kitchen. When I got there, the chair was pulled out from the table, as if someone had just been sitting there. The air felt colder, heavier, like I wasn't alone. "Hello?" I called out, my voice shaky. Silence. I checked every room, every closet, and even the backyard. There was no sign of anyone. I chalked it up to my imagination and went back to bed, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Over the next few weeks, the activity escalated. I'd wake up to find cupboard doors open or lights turned on in rooms I hadn't been in. Once I came home to find every faucet in the house running. My landlord insisted no one else had a key. Another night, I was in the living room when I heard a loud bang from upstairs, like something heavy had fallen. I rushed up to check, but everything was in its place, except for one thing. The old rocking chair in the corner of my bedroom, which I never used, was now facing the doorway. I stared at it, my breath catching in my throat. Then, slowly, the chair began to rock. Just a little, but enough to send me running out of the house. I stayed with a friend that night and seriously considered breaking the lease, but curiosity got the better of me. I started researching the house's history and discovered something chilling. Decades ago, a man named, let's call him Walter, had lived there. He was a loner, rarely seen by neighbors, and reportedly became increasingly unstable in his later years. One night, Walter disappeared. The police found his body in the attic weeks later. He had hung himself. When I read that, my blood ran cold. I hadn't even known the house had an attic. The next day, I decided to check. I found a pull-down ladder in the hallway and climbed up, my hands shaking as you can imagine. The attic was dark and dusty, filled with old boxes and furniture. In the corner, there was a rope tied to a wooden beam, frayed and dangling. That was it for me. I didn't stay long after that. I moved out within a month, breaking the lease and losing my deposit. To this day, I don't know if what I experienced was Walter or just my mind playing tricks on me, but I'll never forget the feeling of being watched in that house or the sight of that rocking chair slowly moving on its own. I've told this story to my friends, and some believe me while others think I'm exaggerating. All I know is I'll never live in an old house like that again.